What's up, everybody? My name is Nicholas Holt.
And I'm Jacob Holt, and this is the Holt Perspective.
The Open is done.
Done and dusted.
It is done and dusted. All right, Kobe. First response. What are we feeling about the Open this year?
I think overall is a pretty good test of fitness. I think it was fairly well rounded. It was more squat heavy, uh, and I feel like that's with everything beyond CrossFit. It's like people always you fall back average to the mean or whatever that saying is, where CrossFit has been very
The pendulum.
you you always feel your shoulders tired, your shoulders, arms, all that pressing is very tired after doing any CrossFit competition, let alone just the open, like even a local comp. Like it's very arm centric focused,
All upper body
pulling,
pulling.
all upper body pulling, little bit of pressing, but really just you don't even need legs to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And now this year was very much more squatty. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
I mean,
sure,
wall ball, lunge, thruster.
yeah, got it.
4 weeks in a
Got
row.
legs in all of them. Got
Mm-hmm.
legs in all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, but I think that for the most part, it didn't have any major holes as far as a 3 week competition goes. So
So I'll push back here, Kobe. There was a massive hole right in the middle of the CrossFit Open. And you know
what's
what
the
it was.
no
The
heavy,
heaviest,
not
the
heavy enough?
heaviest barbell, the heaviest thing was a 135-pound barbell, and the top 1% of the world did four thrusters at 135.
Listen,
Four.
maybe
Four.
I didn't view it as a whole because I have already come to terms with CrossFit does not care about the strength of anything. So I don't even view it as a whole anymore. They just don't know what a heavy barbell is. They don't know what heavy anything is until you get to the games. So,
You know, but I
but
I
hey,
don't know. I don't know. The CrossFit Open. You look at the semifinal last year, and that was a heavy
heavy in semis,
semifinal.
yes.
Heavy.
But we're
It
we're
had
also
it
we're
had
also
70-pound double dumbbell overhead walking lunge. It had 225-pound snatches. It had 275-pound back squats. That was a
mhm,
heavy semifinal.
right. But with what I'm going to say with the open to just further solidify that you just got to get the heavy hole out of your brain is because they'll always push back heavy saying that if there's something heavy in the open it will skew it because it's 3 weeks, but somehow a muscle up, a chest to bar, um, a handstand push up for the most part always will find its way in the open, but those are accessible, but something heavy, no, that can skew results maybe.
I think that's the biggest complaint I have about the Open. You can't this year. You can't have it both ways. I am 100% okay understanding that you don't want to go super heavy
Yep.
because it pushes away so many of the athletes that just can't do
Yep.
workouts. And even that second workout, the buy-in was a lot tougher than people maybe expected
Yeah.
and thought, but at the same time, you can't say the heaviest barbell we have is 135 because like the strong people will just be able to move it better. A, because the strong people never got to the barbell, that had
Nope.
barbell. And
Never
B,
touched
you
out.
had ring muscle ups. So you can't have ring muscle ups and say we can't have a heavy barbell. That's the only thing. And I understand that it was kind of like a progression thing, but a ring muscle up is equivalent to saying do a 225 clean,
100%.
at least. At
Yes.
least.
And
So
saying like
that's
that's
the only
one to one,
thing,
like
man.
trying to do, I would say like doing 225 cleans in a workout and
Mm-hmm.
20 ring muscle ups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
Maybe
I would
closer to
say
15 because you can string along ring muscle ups a little more.
I don't know. I can do 20 clean jerks faster than I can do 20 ring muscle ups.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I would say, yeah, I would say I could.
No, that's fair.
But anyway, doesn't
It
matter.
gotta be accessible. Gotta be accessible.
That's the big hole. And I get like I think if I look at the open, all three workouts, awesome. I'm gonna say it.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say it.
They're good
Awesome
workouts.
workouts. First workout, who the heck was ready for that many wall balls? Who was ready
Hmm.
for a wall ball step over? And everyone was like, whoa, that was way harder than I thought it was going to be. It's just 20 pounds or it's just
Yeah.
14 pounds.
Hmm.
Second workout, awesome. Got to see people do their first chest to bar, got to see people do their first pull up, got to see the people do their first ring muscle up. Should have been a
Yeah.
bar muscle up, but we'll say whatever.
Yeah. For so many different reasons, but
The buy-in was way harder than people thought. Everyone thought everyone was just gonna have to stare at the rings for 7 minutes. Nope.
no,
Nope. People
not
had
at
to
all.
work in that first part.
Hmm.
And then the third workout, probably the best test of fitness there was of the three.
That was a good workout.
Ton of burpees, ton of barbell, ton of like uncomfortableness. All three workouts, great tests. But they just didn't fit together. They
Yeah.
didn't fit together. They were three awesome puzzle pieces, but it's like we had two of the same puzzle pieces. The first
Yeah.
week and the last
First
week,
and third.
we had the same puzzle piece, which is once
First and
again, I think they're great workouts, but we just missed one. We missed
hmm.
one. But this is where we are kind of our clickbait title is important.
Oh yeah.
We say there's a hole, but is it a hole? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter there wasn't a big barbell. Doesn't matter. Is the open good enough? Like is sorry, not that's not the word. Is the open appropriate for what it's for? No one's going to the CrossFit games from the open.
No.
No one's going to a semifinal from the open. The only thing you get to do is go to a quarterfinal, which is 25, the top 25%.
Right.
And the argument here, both ways, is one half you say, okay, if it's all about just making to the quarterfinals, if you can't get top 25% in this open, you don't deserve to go to the quarterfinals. On the other end, is the open more about the community? And there's nothing that gets the community going more than a heavy barbell and people getting excited about a heavy barbell. So there's two ways to
Yeah.
go with it. What are your thoughts, Kobe? If we had to propose it this way, so now we're not looking at like, is it a complete test, blah blah blah. You're looking at it is the open, should it be more community based or should it be more just get to the top 25%, make it super accessible base? And did it do one or the other effectively?
I think it should be a little bit more community based. I think that that was more of its focus this year, and I think that that is partially the reason why the second workout had a ring muscle up as opposed to a bar muscle up, because for literally every single aspect of that workout, every single reason you could think of writing a workout, it made sense for that to be a bar muscle up and not a ring muscle up. um, and even just set up for an online competition that you have to video again makes sense for a bar muscle up. But one thing about the CrossFit Open is so often, like in their promos for that, you see someone struggling and getting their first ring muscle up. So I think that's a big reason why that workout had ring muscle ups instead of bar muscle ups,
Very
because
possible.
that first part was short enough to where like you're still probably finishing that first part in 10 to 12 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
meaning you have 3 to 5 minutes to stare at the rings and get ready for them if you're
Mm-hmm.
looking to just get one ring muscle up.
Mm-hmm.
So like it was programmed enough to where like you have enough time to get your breath back and then try to do a ring muscle up,
Mm-hmm.
get your first one. Like that's the big thing that they talk about with community base with that. And I think that was their main focus with that, and they achieved it for the most part. I'm sure a ton of
Yeah.
people got their first ring muscle up this week
Yep.
or this open.
Yep.
And I don't think that they care too much about the top 25%, partially why they made it top 25% and no longer top 10%. Because if they're going to have the workout skew more community focused, then maybe you get someone who finishes in the 88th percentile instead of the 92nd percentile if you're doing small changes to workouts like that, and that person's on the outside looking in when maybe they shouldn't be. But if it's top 25%, like if you're in the 70th percentile, you can't be too upset that you're not making quarterfinals, because you're not going to make semifinals. You're
Right.
not like you're doing it to get fit and work out, and that's awesome. But like those people that finish 74th percentile are not upset that they missed quarterfinals.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah,
it's
I
more
think,
community focused.
yes, but also I don't know, Kobe. I don't know if I agree with that last part. I liked everything you said up until the very last part. I think that if your goal was to make the quarterfinals and you're 74th percentile, you're bummed.
Yeah,
Because guess what? If it was 10 percentile and you were 89th percentile, both of those athletes are not making the semifinals. Shoot,
fair.
if you're the 97th percentile, you are not making the CrossFit semifinals.
I mean, if you're at the end of, let's be honest, if you're at the end of the 99th percentile, you're not making the games.
No, right? So almost everybody's season ends in the quarterfinals.
Yeah,
I mean, almost everyone.
yeah.
And if you're lucky enough to go to a semifinal, that's awesome. But if you're like, yeah, I think that's where it's like, I get what you're saying, and I get why the community based and everything, but everyone has goals. No
Hmm.
matter if you're 44th percentile and you're like, I really wanted to go 50th percentile. That was the number I wanted, right? And that's the beautiful thing about the open and all this stuff is
Hmm.
goals are awesome that they could do.
I guess
So,
I'll change my saying on it
mhm,
of, if we're just like specifically looking at the second workout, because I think that's where they focused more on it being a community based event rather than a better written programmed workout,
mhm.
making it bar muscle up and ring muscle up. The person that is sitting in 74th percentile compared to the person that's sitting in 89th percentile, that person that's sitting in 89th percentile and it was ring muscle ups, if it were bar muscle ups, maybe that person is good enough at bar muscle ups that that can push them to 90th. If you're in the 74th percentile
You couldn't do
and
either.
it's bar muscle up, ring muscle up, you probably can't do either.
Or there, yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's possible.
So your
I think
score
that
wouldn't have been affected.
here's my thought on that second workout. I think that Dave was just like, I've done bar muscle ups the last 2 years in the open. I can't do bar muscle ups again. I think that's why. And that's the
Maybe.
whole unknown and unknowable thing for sure. Like, I don't think there should be ever be ring muscle ups in the open. There's no reason.
Yeah.
Put them in the
Other than someone
quarterfinals.
getting
Put
their
them in the
first one.
semifinals. Just throw them in the quarters or semis. Put them in a bar muscle up looks sweet too.
Yeah, it does.
So I don't think there's any reason there needs to be ring muscle up. I think that Dave was just like, I've already done bar muscle ups the last 2 years. We
Hmm.
got to change it up a little bit. So
That's fair.
that's what I think there.
I mean,
Um,
he did say, like, if you watch the behind the scenes of the making in 26.2, he said something along the lines of like, what has it been, like 3 years since ring muscle up?
right.
So
So I
it's
think that
like
he was
that's
just blowing his
obviously
like, yeah. I think that's
obviously
what
in
it
his
came
head.
down to. And I don't think it was any deeper than that.
Yeah, could be.
I don't think it was him trying to show progression. I don't think it was just like, we haven't done
No.
ring muscle ups in the open in a while. Let's do them this year. I think it's been
Yeah,
2023 was the last time we did ring muscle ups in the open. So that's
and
about
that
it.
was Bosman, and that
That
was
was Bosman.
Bosman's.
So the last time he programmed rings was a long time. So
Hmm.
I think that's the extent of that. Um, I think that there's a way that you can look at this open and say this was very community based, but also another way of lens that you can look at it and say you missed it because you made people do ring muscle ups and didn't give them a heavy barbell. So it's like it feels like we're just in the middle of both. And it was
Yeah.
I kind of threw a question at you that was like hard to answer because I feel like this open was so hard to say one or the other.
Hmm.
Because in one sense, it's like super inclusive and super like everyone can do it and easy to set up and all these things. But in the other sense, it wasn't inclusive. You missed a heavy barbell. You made people do dumbbell rig, dumbbell rings.
Right.
And it's like, well, what if the rings are in the other room?
Which a lot of gyms have that as their setup.
Right. And then the first workout, wall ball box, really easy, right? But then we do another squatting in the week 3, and then we don't have a heavy barbell. Um, so it's hard because it felt like this open was just like, where does this fit in? It was
Yeah.
like trying to be multiple things, and it was nothing.
Yeah, that's fair. And
That's what it felt.
I think that goes into what we were talking about before of into the possible new era of the open with you referenced a podcast with Castro talking about open and quarterfinals being combined,
Right. And that'd be cool
where I
because,
think with
yeah,
this year, it's with this open being incomplete,
yeah.
it can be completed with quarterfinals on top of it.
Because then you be the, devil's advocate and you say, how in the world can anyone program a 3-week
Yeah.
open and say it's complete?
I mean,
It'll
you can't.
never be complete.
No.
There's nothing you can do to make 3 workouts be a full test of fitness. It's impossible
No.
with CrossFit the way it is. There's so many different time domains and
No.
movements and patterns and different types like monostructural, weightlifting,
Yeah.
um, moving objects A to B. Like there's a million different things.
I mean, even local hole in the wall comps have at least 4 workouts
But
in their
minimum,
comps and
minimum.
usually have an A B part as one of them.
Yes,
Like, and that's just a local comp, like, has
yes,
no hold on any of them.
right.
Minimum of 4.
So having 3 is, especially if you want to keep it just no AB, just like 3 workouts, 3 scores.
Mm-hmm.
It's you don't want to say impossible, but impossible to
It's
truly have a full
impossible.
test of fitness. You have to have 4, 5, 6 scores to call it a full test.
Right.
So yeah, that would be really cool. If this is truly, we're gonna pick 3 workouts. If you're not fit enough to make it to top 25%, then you need to just get fitter. I think that these were 3 fitness tests
For
overall.
sure.
You had a little bit of gymnastics, maybe a little bit slighted towards that gymnastics because of the ring muscle ups. But
Hmm.
overall, it was a super fitness based open.
Yeah.
Not a complete test.
No.
But it might be okay that it's not a complete test. Because it's like, hey, this is just to show if you're fit. If you're fit
Right.
enough to go to the quarterfinals, do it.
Yeah. Then you can show it off in quarters.
Yep. But my final words, there was still a big hole in the open.
You just
That's my
gotta
opinion.
you just gotta come to terms. It's not coming back.
It might not.
Next time they do it, they'll do a 1 rep max thruster because that's
I even accepted the 225 deadlift last year to be the heavy barbell. I accepted it. I was okay
I
with it.
think I don't know. It was that heavy thruster as the 1 rep max is where it was. I viewed it as CrossFit saying, "We hear you guys saying you want heavy, you're not getting it, and as a parting gift, do the movement that everybody hates. Do it for 1 rep max now,
And everyone shut up. We'll never do it again.
and then we'll never do it again." I
Because
think that was the
even all the
parting
way back to
gift.
what you said in the beginning, you're right. Like it is so skewed. It skews the leaderboard in a million ways. What, like in that year, Rich Froning did like a 255 thruster and came in like 10,000th place or something crazy like that.
Yep.
Sorry, Rich. I know you're watching. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus there. But like skews it so bad. People just sandbag the first part just to do a heavy lift. Like I get
Just do
why
it.
it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Just make one barbell a little bit heavier and show fitness with the heavier barbell at the
Yeah.
end of the workout.
Yeah. Do it as a heavier barbell. Doesn't have to be 1 rep max.
But hey,
Like, get
at
how
the end of
that
the day,
skews.
the one thing you can say about the Open is it was a fitness-based Open. If you did not get top 25% with this, that means that you're probably not fit enough.
Right.
Sucks to say it. And if you need a heavy barbell to be the top 25%, you might just have to get fitter.
Just need a little fitter.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think that we're good then.
Let's do it.
All right. My name's Nicholas Holt.
And I'm Jacob. Thanks for watching.